Bruce Willis, the legendary star of Die Hard, Armageddon, Pulp Fiction, and dozens of other blockbusters, has been quietly fighting one of the toughest battles anyone can face: dementia. It's been over 2 years since he stepped away from acting after an aphasia diagnosis, and not long after, the heartbreaking confirmation came that he was suffering from frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, a devastating condition that robs people of language, personality, and independence. And now, new revelations from his wife, Emma Hemming Willis, have shaken fans and stirred up a storm of debate online. Emma, who married Bruce in 2009 and shares 2 young daughters with him, has revealed that Bruce no longer lives in the same house with his family. Instead, he has been moved into a separate one-story home where he now lives with a full-time team of caregivers. And while this decision may sound shocking at first, Emma insists it was one of the hardest and most painful choices she has ever had to make, but also the one Bruce himself would have wanted. According to her, this wasn't just about Bruce's needs, it was about their daughters. Mabel, who's now 13, and Evelyn, who's 11, are at an age where they need stability, normalcy, and a home environment that isn't defined by the challenges of living with dementia. Emma has been very candid in interviews, explaining that Bruce would want his daughters to grow up in a household that catered to their needs, not one that revolved around the constant care and medical challenges that his condition requires. So while he now lives apart, Emma and the girls visit him every day, often for breakfast and dinner, making sure the connection is still there. She describes the home as being filled with love, laughter, and even visits from Bruce's longtime friends who continue to show up for him. But not everyone has reacted kindly to this news. As soon as Emma's ABC special with Diane Sawyer aired, she was bombarded with criticism from people accusing her of abandoning Bruce, of exploiting his illness for publicity, and of being more focused on her upcoming memoir, The Unexpected Journey, Finding Strength, Hope, and Yourself on the Caregiving Path, than on her husband's dignity. Some online trolls even went as far as saying that no wife should ever move her husband out of the family home under any circumstances. And honestly, that's where this whole story takes a darker turn, not because of Bruce's illness itself, but because of how the public reacts to the way families handle these incredibly private, painful situations. Emma fired back at the criticism, posting a strongly worded video on Instagram. She said that caregivers are judged unfairly by people who have never walked this path, people who don't understand what it's really like to live with dementia day in and day out. She reminded everyone that unless you're there, unless you've seen it up close, you don't get to have a say. And frankly, she's right. It's one thing to look at a story like this from the outside and imagine what you would do. But it's another thing entirely to be the one making these decisions in real time, while also trying to raise kids, keep a household functioning, and preserve some sense of normal life. And yet, it hasn't stopped the critics. Some commentators, like Maureen Callahan from the Daily Mail, have gone so far as to call Emma's ABC interview ghoulish, accusing her of exploiting Bruce's decline for book sales and media attention. Callahan went on to say that dementia strips people of their dignity, and that using Bruce's condition as the subject of TV specials and social media posts is distasteful. She even accused Emma of turning Bruce's suffering into an insta-perfect caregiving story designed to make her look strong, empathetic, and inspirational. And that's where the controversy really heats up, because this isn't just about Bruce's health, it's about how the family is choosing to present his illness to the world. Now, here's where my opinion comes in. I think people forget something crucial. Bruce Willis is not just some ordinary man dealing with dementia in private. He is, and always will be, a Hollywood icon. Fans feel a deep connection to him because his films have been a part of their lives for decades. Watching John McClane save the day, or Harry Stamper sacrifice himself in Armageddon, or even seeing Bruce's comedic side in movies like The Whole Nine Yards, it built a bond. So when the news of his illness broke, people felt like they were losing someone they knew personally. And in a way, they were. That's why so many emotions get wrapped up in how his family handles things. People don't just see Emma as a wife, they see her as the gatekeeper of Bruce's legacy. And when she shares private moments or promotes a book or talks about moving him out of the family home, fans feel protective. They don't want their hero's decline to be turned into a spectacle. But here's the other side of it. Families of celebrities don't stop being families. They still go through the same struggles, the same painful choices, the same heartbreak that any family would when dementia enters their lives. And unlike most families, they do it under a microscope. Every decision is scrutinized, every word is analyzed, every Instagram post becomes a headline. Emma has said herself that she expected criticism, but that she shares her story for the caregivers who actually understand. And I do think there's value in that. Dementia is one of the most misunderstood and isolating conditions. By talking about it openly, she raises awareness, not just about the illness itself, but about the toll it takes on caregivers. And if sharing her family's journey makes one other caregiver out there feel less alone, maybe that's worth it. Another layer to this is Bruce's relationship with his ex-wife Demi Moore and their 3 grown daughters, Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. The family has remained unusually close even after Bruce remarried. Demi has been a constant presence, and the daughters have openly shared their grief about losing the version of their father they once knew. Rumor recently wrote about the heartbreak of not being able to have conversations with him anymore, saying she wished she had asked more questions when he could still answer. It's clear that the entire Willis-Moore-Hemming clan is united in trying to surround Bruce with love. And again, that's not easy in Hollywood, where families often fracture. Here, they've come together. That, at least, feels genuine. As for Bruce himself, Emma has emphasized that while his language is slipping away, he's still physically healthy and mobile. That's both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it means he can still engage with his loved ones in small ways. On the other, it highlights the cruel nature of frontotemporal dementia. It takes away your personality, your voice, and your ability to connect while leaving your body intact. It's like watching someone fade while still standing right in front of you. And if you think about who Bruce Willis was, the loud, charismatic, funny, commanding action star, it makes it even more heartbreaking. The contrast between the man he was and the man he is now is just staggering. So where does this leave us? Honestly, in a messy, complicated, and emotional place. Fans want dignity for Bruce, but his family wants support and understanding for themselves. Emma wants to turn her pain into something useful, like a memoir that might help others. Critics think she's capitalizing on tragedy. And through it all, Bruce himself can no longer tell us what he thinks or what he wants. That's the cruelest part of all. His voice, the voice that made him one of Hollywood's most beloved actors, is slipping away. But here's what I think people need to remember. This isn't a movie. There's no perfect ending here, no heroic sacrifice that saves the day. This is real life. And in real life, dementia doesn't give you closure. It just takes, piece by piece, until there's nothing left. And maybe instead of tearing Emma apart for how she's handling it, people should show some compassion. Because whether or not you agree with every choice she makes, there's no doubt she's living through hell. Watching the love of your life, the father of your children, disappear in front of your eyes, that's not something you prepare for. And unless you've been there, you really don't get to judge. So yes, Emma's decision to move Bruce into a separate home is controversial. Yes, promoting a book while he declines might look opportunistic. And yes, some of the glossy photos and interviews do feel a little too polished. But at the same time, she's raising awareness, she's keeping Bruce's legacy alive, and she's giving fans at least some access to the reality of what's happening. And maybe that's the best we can hope for in a situation where there are no good answers.